tell me
So the other audio is clear?
yes, they come your brother and sister-in-law have come to see me before going to US.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
I'm very impressed because he's full-time devoted to exploration lab. He's given up his last 3 years doing the job. Do you want to put the light on? To 10 verses. Mavamani Apundasya Namantan Agam Udbundu Nipa Ena Udkumbhogi Unduki Hiro Gulati Punyaka Tokam Achina. It's just the conjugate of the word last, if you remember, last which we studied last week. That was Mahavamanyeta Papas. You disregard evil. Okay, he's saying don't disregard goodness also, thinking that it will not have any effect. The same analogy is used still. Udbundu Nipate, Udkundu. So drops of water, falling drops of water can fill up even a good jar. So therefore, Hiro Purati Punyas. So a wise person accumulates the merits, Tokam Pihach, even in collecting little by little. Interesting story associated with that. This devotee who had invited Buddha for meals and he wanted to give opportunity to everybody to participate in that. So some people thought कि मैं इतनी हैसियत मुझे बुलाए क्यों भाई, हम सबसे इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं. So they didn't realize his real intention. So one of the rich persons there, he felt offended कि वो मुझसे मांग रहा है. So he gave him a little amount. Then he felt कि मैंने बहुत थोड़ा दिया तो शायद मुझे बेइज्जती हो जाएगी. He may try to kind of tell people that I didn't give enough. So he sent his servants to see कि वो क्या करता है. Then his servants told him कि उसने कभी जो था उसमें भी थोड़ा था सबको दिए जितने भिक्षु आए. So he felt कि सचमुच में मेरी बेइज्जती करनी है. So he came next day to fight with him and then he explained to him why he gave that. So then he was convinced and very happy. And then Buddha, he told this to Buddha that this man had come and he was fighting with me. He understood that what I did was right. So then Buddha decided this. One should not think, even if you do a little bit goodness, worth doing it rather than not doing it.
यूनाइटेड नेशंस के भी रिसेंटली एक न्यूज़ में पढ़ रहा था, बहुत अच्छी रिपोर्ट रिसर्च हुई थी, where they found out that initially they used to, when they wanted donations to alleviate world hunger, they used to give big data. Billions are hungry in Africa, India. When they conducted an exercise, found out कि वो उतना बड़ा number देखकर every common person thinks I can't do much about it, so they don't donate. And then they started to use pictures of little kids saying you can feed this person. Then suddenly the donation increased, because then you suddenly started feeling that I can help.
एक बच्चे को कर ही सकते हैं.
So the amount that they were able to generate was very different. Very interesting experience. Next. वाणिजो भयम मगम अपस्थो महदनो विषम जीवितु कामो पापानि परिविजय.
वाणिज्यो भयंमग्गं अपसत्थो महाधनो विषम जीवितुमुकामो पापानि परिवर्जय. Papani परिवर्जय means you should give up the evil doers. Why should you give up? And then analogy is given. विषम जीवित कामो. जीवित कामो means one जिसको कामना है जीवित रहने की, वो जैसे विष को त्याग देता है. विषम जीवित. So just as a person who wants to live, avoid a poison, and then probably a more apt example for those times, maybe even for today, it is Vanijyo bhayam maggam appasatho mahadana. So just as a merchant with a small caravan and carrying lot of money is fearful of going to a path which is dangerous. So it seems in those days when people had to go from one place to another, rich people with lot of money, they'll go in a caravan with large number of people so that the robbers would not attack them, or they would have enough wherewithal to withstand that. So
also they were not, except big cities, there were not big markets, so most of merchants would travel there.
And then they had to travel via forests and all, and those forests were usually abodes of robbers and other things. So there's the story of the same kind of a rich merchant who wanted to go, but he didn't have too many people, and his name itself was Mahadana, it seems. So he wanted to make a journey with a lot of valuable merchandise, so then he had requested some monks to come with him, so hoping that will help. But the robbers were hiding in the forest, but they found out, this person found out probably that robbers were there, so he didn't go. He came back. He said, I'll go back. And while going back, he felt that while going from one village to another, I'll again be caught. So he stopped in the village and then stayed there for some time. Then the monks came back and told Buddha this is what had happened. And then using that as an analogy, Buddha recited this verse that just as a merchant is careful to avoid this, similarly one should be careful to avoid doing evil actions.
पाणिं हि चेवणो नास्स हरेय पाणिना विषम नावण्णं विषमन्वेति नत्थि पापम अकुर्वतो.
पानी ही, पानी means hand, पानी हाथ में, चवनो means a wound, nasa nahi hai. If there is no wound in the hand, then hareya panina visam, then in that hand you can even keep poison in it.
Right? This is actually I like this part of it.
Yeah. Nabannam visamanaveti. So the person who has no wound, the poison will not affect him. Natti papam akumpato. Similarly, the one who does not do any evil, there is no evil consequence of it. So that is the beautiful and the story of a rich person's daughter. She had become a Sodapanna apparently, and then she fell in love with some not so rich person, some hunter or something. That's nothing to do. Yeah, they got married and children, and so this hunter had the kind of occupation only was of hunting. So this woman would has to support him. So it's seen in somewhere else I read that she used to give him, and he will go, he will give, ask, and she will give him the arrows and bows. This is your job. So once he had laid a trap, and he found that Buddha happened to pass by that, and he was sitting on a tree nearby. So no animal was getting trapped. So he thought maybe somebody had taken away those animals and was caught in the trap, and he felt saw Buddha and said he must have done. So he took up his bows and arrows and about to shoot to him. So while he was about to shoot, he got him immobilized. Because of the radiance of Buddha, he must have got him. Then his children came, they also tried, they also got him immobilized. So when she saw that they are not coming back, she went and saw what is happening. And she saw them put ready to shoot Buddha, and she told them, don't kill my father. So they thought that he must be her father, so they said okay. Then they immediately stopped anger towards this person, and then they were able to move again. And then the woman told them all whatever about this, that he was her teacher, and Buddha gave a discourse. And then he went to monastery and told the monks the story. And monks were wondering, how could a woman who is supposed to be Sotapanna get married to a hunter and keep on giving arrows to him to kill? He said there was no intention for her. It was her husband's occupation. She was just doing it without any intention to keep an evil. So he says that if a person has no intention to commit evil, then no bad karma is created by that person. So that is the
Valmiki story.
Story.
It's very similar from a different side. Narada says to Valmiki when he was a dacoit, whether your family will इस पाप की भागीदार है क्या, right? So he goes and asks them, वो कहते हैं हमारा कुछ नहीं, तुम भी काम करते हो, तुम्हारी प्रॉब्लम है, हमें तो खाना देते हो.
So that is enough to make him think.
Right, but from their family's point of view, the same point is being made sort of.
Yo up to Trusted, Nervous, Dupsati, Uddhasta, Uddhasta, and Antagrasa, Samev, Balam, Achechati, Pakam, Sukhum, Rajo, Pati, Vatam, Kitto.
Yo apaduthasya narasya dussati, which means who apaduthasya means help. Apaduthasya is not really having any bad states of mind. Mind is not very corrupted. Narasya means purush ko, dussati means gussa karta hai. So one who offends against an uncorrupted person, suddhasya, who is pure, possessor means person, anangasya, who doesn't have a impure will, impure mind. What happens to him? Tameva balam, to that fool, bal means a fool, murko pacheti papam, pacheti means falls back. So any evil that he does, that foolish person does, then that evil will fall back upon him. So a person who hurts a pure person, then such an evil will recoil back upon him. And what is the example given? Sukhumo rajo patil vatam Patva Chitto. Pativatam means against the wind. So if you throw fine dust against the wind, come back on me. So that's the analogy given there.
Analogies are amazing.
Yeah. So the similes are beautiful. There's a book actually written by one German, Similes of Buddha. So, and the story also is very powerful here in this case of a hunter again, who used to hunt with his dog. So when he was leaving his house, one day he happened to see a monk. So he took it as a bad omen. कि इनको तो खाना नहीं मिलता, मुझे भी नहीं मिलने वाला आज. So and it happened that he didn't get any hunt that day. So he was very upset. Next day again he found that he was really upset and wild कि क्या हो रहा है, रोज सामने मेरे आया था, मुझे खाना नहीं मिलता. So then he third time when he went, he sent his hunting dogs after that monk. So the monk ran and went up to a tree. वहाँ बैठा रहा. तो इसको इतना गुस्सा था, इसने तीर मारा उसके monk के, उसके पाँव पे लगा तो उसकी जो ड्रेस थी वो से सरकने लगी. So the hunter went near that tree, and the story says that as he was near the tree, the dress of the monk fell on the hunter. So the hunter got covered by his dress, and the dogs thought that he is the monk. So they attacked him and eventually killed him. And then monk felt very bad. Then he went to Buddha and told him that and because of my dress falling on him, the dogs took him to be that. Then the Buddha said it that when a person wants to harm an innocent person, then the evil will fall back upon him. Then he recited this verse.
I mean, I don't know much about dogs, but I thought they operate more on smell. So it's very difficult for them to believe that they are the monk, but it's a story. So I will not apply logic.
We don't know about these dogs. No? Normally, which are which hunting dogs are a different habit. They must have got confused. Good, sir. So, we'll come back to our Girimananda Sutta. So, we had studied up to 3, isn't it?
3, yeah.
What is it? So, we're studying this Girimananda Sutta on perception. How do we bring about changes in our perception? So, of course, we are reading them one by one, but obviously perception would change only when we reflect upon them again and again and again. So that's why the need for changing the perception is a very onerous task. So I have been wondering that whenever we sit for our meditation sittings, at the end of it, once the mind is set down, settled, calmed down, we have seen the agitations of the mind have settled down. So since we are sitting for 1 hour, usually or 1 hour or 1.5 hours, to go to maximum, we will not be able to find more than 1 hour. So towards the end of it, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, some of these insight developing exercises should be done. Because that will then strengthen the insight, strengthen the changes in the perception. For example, anicca. Of course, when you observe sensations, we do feel anicca, but usually it becomes a mechanical process, and then you don't remember to reflect it. It is impermanent. So that reflection, anicca, anatta, for example. Anatta, there is no other way. There is no way that you can anicca. You can at least feel. You can't feel anatta at all. This is obviously atta. Everything is me. I am doing it. So that's such a difficult thing that unless we really reflect upon it again and again, and then that becomes slowly ingrained. And of course, then it should reflect in our day-to-day living. So similarly, this issue of Ashubha Sanya, the attachment to body, lust is such a strong kind of sankhara with us. Because we are born through the lust of our parents. So our whole life is kind of engaged with that activity. So to overcome is extremely tough.
It's so difficult to
visualize
observe and then you observe what is happening to the mind and why it is happening, what is the root. And
in these cases, what is said is, there is no question of observation here. These are not exercises of just observing. They are exercise of doing. So, that's why the Buddha's teaching is always, you can go to one extreme or other extreme. One extreme, keep on doing, keep on doing, keep on doing. Other, no, nothing to be done, just observe. Strike a balance. For us, we have to strike a balance. This is the doing exercise. Again and again he is saying, Katma Chanda Subhasanya. Then what does he do? Pachavekkhati. Pachavekkhati means reviews, reflects. Because he knows what is there. What is there in this body? Athi, Masmin, Kaya, Kesha, Loma, Nakha, Danta. So, Kesha, Loma, Nakha, Danta. So, you know that. And then you can reflect upon it again. This is what it is. And of course, we can reflect in whichever way we feel like doing it. A modern way, or in terms of 32 parts of the body, or in terms of the elements, or in terms of electron, proton, whatever. Whatever concept, because they're concepts. So in terms of those concepts, then we slowly try to get out of the attraction of the body and the attraction of the skin, so to say. So these are things to be done, reflected upon. So then we come to the next one. Katma cha ananda adinava samya. Idananda bhikkhu aranyagato va rukkhamulagato va sunnyagara va iti patisanchikhati. Again, patisanchikhati. Pati means again reflects, again thinks about it, reviews, reflects upon it again and again. What? Bahu dukkho kho ayam kho kayo bahud adinava. Bahut dukh hai is kaya mein. Bahut adinava. There is a lot of drawbacks, a lot of dangers. Adinava is translated both as danger and drawback. Both of them are obviously valid here. Iti masmin kaye vividha abhada upajjanti. This body is kaya में विविध प्रकार के बीमारियां जो है तो उत्पन्न होती रहती हैं. Say yathasadam, like what? Then he says. So all kinds of diseases are named here. So you can get an idea of, at that time also Indian society knew about all these diseases. Because Buddha was not a physician, yet he knew them. So it means this must be common knowledge among the people that so many diseases can happen. So the whole idea is to focus on these, so that one understands that the attachment to the sensory domain is reduced. So that one then sees that to wish for getting born again and again in human realm is not a very nice proposition. So that's the way you develop slowly and slowly the Vidya, the disenchantment. You can see all kinds of diseases are listed. And then finally, the generic characteristic is also the disease. If anything is left, it says the disease is arising from changes in weather, not proper care of the body. So everything is incorporated in that. Disease is arising from Vata, Pitta and Kapha. According to Ayurveda, everything is arising from that. So all possible diseases are listed here. Main idea being that, what is the main idea? And one of the diseases you will see is Kamma Vipaka Abhada. Kamma Vipaka Abhada means the illnesses which arise as a result of fructification of karma. So in Ayurveda it is recognized that such diseases should not be treated because you can't treat. We don't know, apparently there is no cause and still a person is ill. So that's the kind of illnesses.
This means that something which is more like because of environmental conditions or an epidemic or
Wrong food.
Or wrong food.
But,
It is not Kamma Vipaka.
In a deeper sense it is. Yeah. In a deeper sense even that is. Because what you are experienced is a result of Kamma Vipaka. But the Kamma Vipaka is what brings us in contact with that. Now if we are mindful and we respond to situation properly, we may or may not fall in. But what he means by Kamma Vipaka Abhada means those illnesses which arise because of that, which are fundamentally of the kind which cannot be attributed to most of the people. That's the Ayurvedic perception of the.
Because I read somewhere some Charak Samhita thing where some student asked a teacher that if it is about with my karma, then how does everybody in an area fall ill because of an epidemic? And there are such questions discussed.
So Kamma Vipaka, I had also read in this Veshaj Ratnavali long back. There it was mentioned actually that a good physician would know when he sees that there is no apparent reason for a illness, he would understand that this is common. Then he should not treat it. He should leave the person to go through that.
It's very unthinkable now to say don't treat.
हाँ, for a doctor to tell ये आपके कर्मों का फल है, then he loses job. So the
बोल तो देते हैं मूवीज में, तो बोल देते हैं मुझे दबाओ की नहीं, दबाओ की जरूरत है.
yeah, of course. Terminally इनको तो बोल ही देते हैं.
But actually, अभी there are so many things जिसमें डॉक्टर बोलते हैं, we don't know what caused it.
Yeah. Yes. So iti masmin kaye adi neva nupassi viharati. So this is how one dwells. Now the word used is anupassi. It's not anything. So see, if you want to interpret it, you can interpret it in that sense also. But basic the idea is to reflect upon it, that these are the kind of illnesses. Because one can reflect upon, at the end of a meditation session, one can reflect how many diseases I have already gone through. And you can actually see how much suffering I have gone through. And that acts as a strong, because you've experienced that suffering. I have experienced this illness, that illness, that illness. So you can remember that. I remember when I had that falciparum malaria, my body was vibrating. The bed in hospital I was there, were admitted, that also started vibrating. Such strong kind of trembling was going on in the body. So I remember that vividly. So if you remember that, this is the kind of realm in which we are living, that you get all these kind of things. So then it creates a kind of inspiration and aspiration towards, you should I think about better realms or get out of these cycles. Because it's so uncommon and anti-normal perception to think of. Why should you think of getting out of the cycle of birth and death? One doesn't really think about it in any way. It doesn't seem to be of any worthwhile endeavor that one should really work in that direction. And so I read out the first verse. Okay.
Machananda Pahana Sanya Idananda Bhikkhu Upanan Kama Vittakam Nadi Bhati Prajapati Vinodeti Hanti Karoti Anbhavan Gameti.
So Katama cha Ananda Pahana Sangya. So the sixth one is asking what Ananda is the perception of Pahana, the abandoning. Idam Ananda Bhikkhu Upannam Kama Vitakam Adivaseti Pajati Vinodeti Vyanti Karoti Anbhavam Gameti. Here what happens? This is the situation where a monk does not, see this sounds totally different to the mere observation process, the kind of words which Buddha uses there. Here Bhikkhu Uppannam Kama Vitarkam means Uppannam is utpann hue Kama Vitarko. When there is a desire or a thought of sensuality, what does he do? Nadhivaseti. He does not let that settle the mind, let the mind settle in it. He pajahati, abandons it. Vinodeti, he tries to remove it away. And Vyanti karoti, anabhavam gameti. Vyanti karoti means he abolishes it. Anabhavam gameti, he works toward the cessation of that. So he puts effort. So when a thought of sensual desire arises, he puts effort to abandon it, destroy it, dispel it, and so many things are being used. Then next is
Uppanan
Vyapada Vipartakam. Just as it was Kama Vitarkam, Uppannam Vyapada Vitarkam. Same thing. So with respect to the Vyapad का जो hatred का ill will का thought उत्पन्न होता है, उसके प्रति भी same attitude है. Doesn't allow the mind to settle into it, tries to abolish it, dispel it, remove it. So he puts effort. This is the part of Samma Vayama. You remember? This is the part of Samma Vayama. Then next is Uppannam Vihimsa Vitakam. Vihimsa means Himsa to do any harm other people. A thought arises इसको तो मुझे कुछ सबक सिखाना ही है, I must to harm this person. Then that kind of a thought also, he does the same thing, abandons it, dispels it, relinquishes it and removes it from the, puts effort to remove that. Then next is
Panne
papake akusale dhamme. So anything which is unwholesome mental thought which arises. So he doesn't allow even unwholesome mental thoughts which arise, he doesn't tolerate them. He tries to dispel them, remove them as early as possible. He tries to. And ayam uchchata ananda pahana sanya. This ananda is called the perception of abundance. There's one very interesting thing I noticed yesterday while seeing it. In every other section, he says, Idananda bhikkhu aranyagato va shunyagara va. Here is not said it. It has to be done every time. It does not need to go to a shunyagara or a ranyagato. So here it says, Idananda bhikkhu pannam kama vitakam starts. It doesn't say that you go to a shunyagara and then do it. Because it is a hot thing to be done every moment. Whenever it arises, you have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to sit and
You don't have to
keep
sit
on
and
this
think
feeling
about it.
first and then dispel it.
Yeah. As soon as it arises, you should work on it. So that's the, and in everything else you would see, because they all need reflection. To think about anatta, you have to sit, come in and reflect. To think about even anicca, he says. Think about ashubha sanya. Everywhere you say, in every all other things, this statement is made. Idananda bhikkhu aranyagato va sunyagara va, and so on. But here, it has to be done in the hot seat every time.
Is this more preemptive or is this more corrective? All these, so is the expectation कि आएंगे तो सही, but उसको खत्म करिए consciously या with practice ये आने ही बंद हो जाए?
With due course of time, all these things will automatically get reduced. But whether it will be totally abundant or not, it depends upon the extent of mental training which we do. So there are again two kinds of traditions. One tradition says, the Burmese tradition, all that this should be completely uprooted. The other tradition says that this, for example, Thai tradition says this complete uprooting is not possible. You don't identify that. So you see something, unpleasant thought arises, you just don't identify it, it goes away. So there are these two competing thought processes about this, even about awakened being. He says, what do you think of? Ajahn Sumedho at some of his discourses uses that some people think that when you awakenment means that you've lost everything. All emotions are lost, nothing is going to happen, you're totally sterilized. He uses the example just as you have these toilet cleaners and you put them on the toilet and no germ remains. Some people think that probably a person has to become something like that. I don't think so. Things arise and you don't get, you have likes, dislikes, they remain there. You just see them. You don't allow them to enter into your mind. You see them as arising and passing away, and then they don't influence your day-to-day life at all. There's that, in fact, an interesting episode mentioned in by some other person, not Ajahn Sumedho directly, but some other person in his book. I think in that Moffat's book, probably it is mentioned. Phil Moffat's book. That once a beautiful young lady came to talk to Ajahn Chah. She called Ajahn Sumedho and asked him to sit there. So when
I think nuns I think some missionaries say, and Ajahn Chah was given talk to them, so
they called him and asked him to sit there. And then after a long discussion was over and then they went away, then he asked him, what did you feel? He says, I liked it, but I didn't want it. So he asked him, how did you feel about the ladies? He said, I liked it, but I don't want it. So he was very happy. He said, good. And there's an equally strident story, philosophical story. This, of course, is a real event. Story associated with a Zen monk. It is said that a Zen monk was practicing in a mountain, and one family was supporting him for a long time. So Once the young daughter of the family, she went to the monk and embraced him. So he was taken aback and then she went away. So then the mother came and said, "How did you feel?" She said, "What did I feel? Nothing at all, and there was no influence at all on me. I just felt strange, nothing." So says she asked him, "Get lost," and burnt his cottage and said, "You are a fake one." Asked him to get away. So people have wondered about it, whether it is a true story or not. Why did she say so? She said that person was probably faking. If you have such a strong influence on you, it's not possible that you don't feel anything. So if you are saying I didn't feel anything, you are faking. You are not being true to the experience which you have. So that is a test which the monk was sent. Whether he can truthfully reply, what did he feel? So these are the kind of very.
It's an important subtlety because I don't know, there may be some people who can get to a stage where it is completely preempted. But for most people, even this thought कि वो आएगा ही नहीं will feel scary कि हमको ये हमारे बस का नहीं है. So to say that you can still be in a superior state despite getting these thoughts is a comforting feeling. That shows कि कुछ कर सकते हो आप. Otherwise लगेगा ये तो अपने बस का नहीं है.
In fact, it's open to conjecture. Nobody can really say because the fact is that arhants have different behavior. There's no doubt. As recorded in the same scripture which we are adoring and which we are studying, which is seen to be authentic description of the reality. So if you see the behavior of Sariputta and Moggallana, I mean, you couldn't think of any greater disciples than them. You see so much difference in their behavior. So obviously there is a difference. In one case there is one kind of behavior, in another case there is another kind of behavior. So they are still retaining their differences. They are not all become completely sterilized out of all feelings. So there is a difference. And there is a very poignant thing noticed. I have read it in the discourses. Sariputta died on Kartik Purnima, 6 months before Buddha. Then 1 month after that, Mahamoggallana passes away. So Ananda is terribly distraught and he says the light of Dhamma is gone. And so in one discourse it is mentioned that Ananda is crying, Sariputta is gone, light of Dhamma is gone. He says, "Would you think Ananda or Sariputta taken away all Dhamma with it?" He gets flabbergasted. No. He says, "Have I not told you that everything is impermanent? So why are you crying?" Quite a same thing. And there is a discourse of the Buddha after some time. He is sitting and giving a talk and he says, "This assembly is empty of all people, of great people." So he's remembering those two of his disciples and making that comment. So this shows the person is feeling the absence of those people. That these two great people are not present in the assembly today. I can feel the difference in the assembly. So it's not that Buddha is being totally sterilized and he doesn't feel the absence of those people. You can see in that, you can read in that discourse. So to say that a person will become totally like a Star Trek में करना था ना, completely completely neutral, robot-like. I don't think that's really correct.
You say about ill will. So can you safely say that?
Yeah, ill will not arise.
Ill will and willpower.
Yeah, but the feeling of dislike may arise.
Yeah. If like and dislike don't arise, then as it's living in this body is very difficult.
Yeah, that's not wrong. It's difficult to imagine a body where you will not have life. It will not affect you, but
when you have pain, the body will creak and then you need to take rest. As I told, I think earlier also, there are discourses of one or two Buddha where he mentions, "I'm having pain," he says, "I'll have to lie down." You give it, complete the discourse. Those facts are there. So we can only infer from them.
When you use the word mind-body complex, we realize that its mind-body is not, the split is artificial. then we don't ask questions like कि body को कुछ होगा कि नहीं. Even whoever you are, the body is subject to.
Yeah.
Similarly, the mind is subject. Doesn't mean you are attached to it. In that sense, it seems
Yeah.
logical.
Things arise and pass away. Let them go. There are discourses of Buddha where he rebukes Sariputta once. There is a discourse that Sariputta had come with his 500 monks to the monastery, younger monks, and they made discourse says that they created a racket. Kamra do, ye nahi mila, wo nahi mila. And it was, the words used are, it was like a fish market. So Buddha says, what is going on, Ananda? What is going on? This monastery has become like a fish market. She says, sir, Sariputta has come and his 500 disciples have come. He says, ask him to get out. Sariputta ko aap keh rahe hain, get out. He's not trained in America. Ask him to get out. When they plead with him, no, please don't ask at least Sariputta to get out. Those people are nae hain, bechare abhi. So then after some time he says, okay, sit. But don't make noise here, don't make it a fish market. So you can see the kind of responses the situation demands. He doesn't shy away from giving a strong response also.
Goenkaji talks about his guru having an artificial anger
and shouting
at the people kind of situation. So I was curious, everywhere it says 500 monks. It seems when the number became large, they said 500. Seems like that.
I don't know, or maybe that they had a limit,
They had a limit.
that there would not be more carrying more than them with them.
Because even at Buddha's death, I think Mahakassapa comes with
Some
500 monks. So I find everywhere there is 500 monks.
At many places it is there, yes. There is that famous discourse, Mahasamaya Sutta. There are 500 arhants, and Buddha is sitting with 500 arhants.
Tatmachanan Virag Sanya Idhanan Vittu Aran Gatova Duk Mulgatova Sundan Rag Gatova Iti Pati Sanchikati Etam Santam Etam Panitam Yadidam Sab Sankharan Matho Samatho Sabu Pati Tini Pati Tanakhyo Virago Niban
Bananti.
Ayam Gucchatanand Virag Sanya.
So you can see again it starts from saying that, Idananda Bhikkhu Aranyagatova, so it's again starting the same thing. Then this has to be done in that context. Etam Santam. This Ye Shanti hai. Santam actually means this is Ye Shanti. What? Etam Panitam. Yadidam Sabba Sankhara Samato. What is it? What is peace? What is exquisite? Sabba Sankhara Samato. Sare sanskaro ka saman ho jana. If they calm down, that is a great peace. Sabba Upadhi Patinisaggo. The relinquishment of all Upadhi, acquisition. So you can see the word Upadhi ka jo root meaning ye tha. Aajkal Upadhi ko bhi put as a title and all that. So here also it is in the same sense, anything which we acquire. So anything which creates a arising of ego used to be called an upadhi. And this is a part of the Vedic language also. In that term also upadhi is used in that sense. Tanha khayo, the destruction of cravings. Virago is passion. Nibbananti, the experience of nibbana, unbinding the transcendence. I am Uchchitananda Viraga. This is Ananda, what is called the perception of dispassion. It is realizing that calming down of sankharas is peaceful. So we should really move in that direction. Then next will be
Pratamacha Nirodha Sanya Idhananda Rukhu Aranyagatowa Rukkhamulagatowa Sanyagaragatowa Iti Patisanchekhati Etam Santam Etam Panitam Yadidam Sabba Sankhara Samato Sabbu Patipatti Nisaggo Tanhakhyo Nirodho Nibbananti.
just almost the repetition. You can see even the words are almost the same. He's now talking about the perception of cessation of the perception. which is obviously the state of complete arhant state, when there is a complete cessation of perception. So this has obviously to be done in a secluded environment. This kind of practice.
To me, this was very surprising because till now, wherever when Buddha tries to say, don't imagine or don't see the reality as it is, and that will lead you to go beyond it. But here it is almost saying reflect, which is
that's what I'm
positive
saying,
kind of a
because you see, that's the problem which happens if we have a particular agenda, a particular tradition to follow.
Right.
Then that tradition will enforce only on that. It will refuse to see the other part. And Buddha was not bound by a tradition to teach. So whatever he felt appropriate, he taught. So there are series of discourses where he is talking of doing such a strong effort. Virya is one of the 7 factors of enlightenment. Purushartha, virya lagao karna. On the other hand, don't do anything. Shunyata is also. So there is a discourse which talks of shunyata, there is a discourse which talks of virya. So one has to see both the dimensions of it and try to harmonize them together, come to a state, because depending on the state of the person, he will give advice what you should do. And even in Eightfold Path, Samma Vayama was there. This is hard work. You have to remove this, hold on to this, not allow negativity to come. Whatever negativity is there, remove that. But we saw just now. It's exactly the same. So there are places where he is asking us to reflect. Anatta, you have to reflect. Ashubha, you have to reflect. What can you do? You can't cut open the body and see that it is there. It won't affect even that, even if you see. That's why in many, in Satipatthana discourse earlier, long back, in our Satipatthana camp, we used to see a post-mortem. But then people stopped doing it because some female meditators got upset on seeing the dead body cut open and things of that kind. They show it in their view so that one can develop that Ashubha. But basically, even if you see it on a TV, you are only seeing, you are not actually experiencing. You can't experience your own body in that form and see its color and see that there is blood flowing and all that. Even if you experience deeply a meditation, you can see a sensation of flow. You don't know whether it is blood flowing or what it is flowing. You can't figure it out. So this is the next 8th floor.
But इससे पहले वाले में हमने डिस्कशन की बात करी
और इसमें सेसेशन, उसके कल्मिनेशन की बात. It is actually a kind of culmination of discussion.
But there is no process mentioned. No process as such to say how to cultivate discussion.
Yeah. This is the understanding that the Sabba Sankhara Samato, that as the Sankharas are reduced, the peace dawns on us. That's what I can understand. Sabba Sankhara Samato, that is the whitening of Sankharas causes a Santam, Shanti aati hai. Etam Santam. Shanti hai. When you go and sit in a secluded place and you feel the peace dawning on you, you can see that it is related to the Sabba Sankhara Samato.
The Sankhara word काफी confusing है.
Sankhara has a wide meaning, so it has to be seen in the context. So Sankhara in the absolute sense is the arising of various mental formations, various mental, you can say, mental, what is it called? Chetsika जिसको कहते हैं ना अभिधम्मा में, mental factors, various mental factors, all mental factors, arising of every mental factor, lobha, dosha, alobha, adosha, कुछ भी. And there are those 52 mental factors put down. So those arising of any of them disturb the mind. So when there is whiten, so one can actually sit and see. Arising of that is disturbance, calming down of them is peace. So that is being said to be done. That should be actually experienced. So these are things to be experienced. And then experience has to be reflected upon. It's very, very important actually. See, when you practice and you keep on observing sensations and you don't reflect that they are impermanent and what is the meaning of the impermanence, what does it really mean, then you're doing it mechanically. In that case, your vijnana gets strengthened, you get some quietude, mind becomes peaceful, and because periodically the sankharas arise and we are observing them, there is some element of purity gain. But the clear insight into the impermanence will not arise. That's why we tend to think, 20 साल हो गए, 25 साल हो गए, अभी तक हमको अनित्य बोध समझ में नहीं आया, फायदा क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि हमने एफर्ट ही नहीं किया होता है। You know, try to put it into practice, because when you observe sensations, you are observing sensations are rising and changing. So there is a change of them. So there was a suggestion is given that not only you observe sensation, you also observe the change. Be aware of that change, and assimilate it mentally also. You are changing here, but this is only change of the sensation of the body. Much more important is change of the mental state, change of perception. The perception holds us so strongly that unless we reflect that हमारा perception भी मेरा नहीं है भाई, बदलता रहता है, कभी मैं कुछ कह देता हूँ, कभी मुझे कुछ लगता है, कभी कुछ लगता है. Then you become somewhat lesser, then the world is not too much heavy on us. Otherwise, we tend to get so much strongly carried away by perceptions.
We are our perceptions.
Yes. I mean, बॉडी के बारे में तो फिर भी हमको लगता है कि हाँ बचपन में ऐसा था, बड़ा ऐसा हो गया, बदल रहा है, चलो समझ में आ रहा है. परसेप्शन तो है ही, ऑब्वियसली ये तो गलत है ही, ऐसे तो है ही गलत है, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए, व्हाट डू यू मीन, ये तो गलत है. एंड यू हैव ऑल दिस, एंड वंस यू हैव दैट फीलिंग ऑफ आई एम द राइट, तो कोई चारा ही नहीं रहता ना. वंस यू हैव दैट परसेप्शन ऑफ यू आर राइट एंड अदर्स आर रॉन्ग, you will get strengthened to unsurmountable extent. So to give that possibility at time may be wrong, and that is only a conditioning. What I am calling I am right is my conditioning. That's okay. Somebody has another conditioning, he has different perception. So we don't therefore get into that conflicts and strong ego rising and then get into difficulties. So that's such a difficult thing. So difficult it is. Unless we reflect upon it again and again and again, to be able to see the impermanence of perception is extremely difficult. So it needs repeated reflection. हम साधना मैकेनिकली कर रहे हैं ना. अगर उसको बाद में, अभी मैं काफ़ी समय से ही कोशिश करता हूँ, 1 घंटा साधना करनी है, 2 घंटे करनी है, तो लास्ट 10 मिनट बीच बीच में वी टेक ए ब्रेक एंड रिफ्लेक्ट, क्या हो रहा है, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, व्हाट एक्सपीरियंस इज अराइजिंग, and what is the understanding you can get from it. So if you ask that question, what is happening every time, periodically, then you can see, oh, I am getting attached to the whole process of observing sensations and getting into that only groove. Then you should try to see that. अब हम इनिशियल तो ये ना, शुरू में तो ऐसे ही करेगा साधना, शुरू में तो सबको साधना ऐसे ही करनी चाहिए, मेरे को कर ही नहीं पाएगा कुछ. Unless mind is reasonably quiet, you cannot do all this reflection. It's not possible. Reflection can be done when mind has some reasonable level of quietude. Some people have naturally that. Some people need to strive to achieve it. But once you have, I mean, for most people, if you meditate properly for 5-10 years, you do get reasonable degree of quietude. And when you sit for meditation, within 15-20, half an hour, mind settles down. And then the kind of heavy waves of thoughts settle down. And then my mind is quiet, then one can reflect. क्या experience हो रहा है, it is happening. And that's why it is mean Dhammanupassana. So try to reflect upon the important part of Dhammanupassana is such a problem. This is suffering. So all that has to be actually reflected upon.
बाद में रिफ्लेक्ट करने से उसका जो कर सकते हैं होगा ना, बाद में जब रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, जैसे हमने साधना कर ली, उसके बाद हम रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं,
So mind quiet हो जाएगा ना, तब रिफ्लेक्शन ठीक से हो पाएगा, नहीं तो हो नहीं पाएगा.
संस्कार कटेंगे क्या?
संस्कार कटने में है, उन संस्कारों को हम अपना मान रहे हैं, इसलिए प्रॉब्लम है. कटने की बात नहीं है. सत्य ये है, ये जो कुछ पचड़े में पड़ गए ना कि हम समझना देख रहे हैं संस्कार कट रहे हैं, तो वो संस्कार तो अनित्य अनंत है, काटते रहो उनको. अनंत सागर है. सभी कहते हैं कितने जन्म, भगवान बुद्ध की वाणी है कि आपने अगर कितने जन्म लिए हैं, उनको अगर हड्डियों को इकट्ठा कर ले तो महासागर वो पर्वत बन जाएगा. तो अनंत है संसार सागर. तो उनको हम अपना मानते हैं, ये मुख्य कारण है. प्रॉब्लम ये
कोर्स में ये फीलिंग स्ट्रांग
नहीं है.
उल्टा होता है.
कोर्स में बिकॉज़ कोर्स इज मेंट फॉर बिगिनर्स.
वो उसमें समझाते हैं ना बड़ा टेक्निकली कि ऐसे संस्कार
कटेगा. सो दैट्स अ परसेप्शन अराइजेस कि संस्कार हमको एक एक करके काटना है. फॉर अ बिगिनर इट इज गुड टू अंडरस्टैंड इट सो दैट ही इज मोटिवेटेड टू वर्क. अदरवाइज तो कुछ करेगा ही नहीं. अदरवाइज तो वो दूसरा एंड आ जाएगा ना, वेदांत वाला जो एंड आ जाता है कि कुछ नहीं करना, पहले शुद्ध है, क्या करना, दूसरा क्या. You are already perfect. Consciousness is perfect. There is pure consciousness operating through me. शुभम खत्म हुई बात. कुछ भी कर लो सब. मैं तो कर ही नहीं रहा. तो जब वो पुलिस वाला पकड़ के ले जाता है तब ख्याल आता है कि शायद मैंने किया. तब तक लगता है मैं तो कर ही नहीं रहा. सो वो दूसरी एक्सट्रीम है. So therefore we have to strike a balance. So balance strike करना सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत काम है. So one has to assess oneself, where to one stand, and then take it. So that is the very important thing that we, if you take thing वो अजान सुने तो बार बार ये कहते हैं जब तक अगर तुम समझोगे कि मुझे तो अब बहुत साधना करनी है, अपने राग हटाने हैं, द्वेष हटाने हैं, so then you are starting from fundamental ignorance of I am. Then you remain caught in that ignorance for eternity. You can't get out of it. Because अविद्या पच्चया संखारा, आपने बेसिक अविद्या पकड़ ली, संस्कार तो बनते ही जाएंगे, कटेंगे कुछ, वो भ्रम. मेंटली पीस हो जाती है डेफिनेटली, बिकॉज बॉडी के अंदर स्टोर्ड संखारा हैं, डिफरेंट बॉडी के पार्ट्स में उनका असर, संखारों का असर पड़ा रहता है. जिसके ज़्यादा फियर होता है उसके लिवर में प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, जिसको ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट होती है उसकी गट्स में प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स वेल आइडेंटिफाइड है. सो दोज व्हेन यू मेडिटेट ऑन द बॉडी, then those sensations arise, and then if you observe them, then those sensations cease, and then you feel a relief. So that relief is there definitely, especially with respect to body sensation, you feel a relief, and then that relief itself is so kind of giving us so a great satisfaction that we get caught in that relief. I think that the whole purpose of Buddha's teaching was to reduce our tension. That would not come for positive thinking and reducing tensions and living a meaningful life so that you can do better work and get high efficiency and productivity in the factory. I don't know, you didn't come for that purpose here. It's talking of the complete cessation of suffering from the cycle of birth and death, which we leave aside. ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, इसको छोड़ दो. But if you leave that aside, then you remain trapped in the small things.
So I found that even if you don't look at that as a bigger goal, even for a smaller goal, for example, this worry. Worry is something that if your mind starts, that was actually one of my question also, but let me put my comment first, that I found that if mind starts to worry about something, which is a constant worry, the more we think about it as a sanskar that we have to get rid of, or a defilement in the mind that we get rid of, I think I have found that we get into this cycle. Because there would be times that when we cannot get rid of her 5 minutes में the same thought will start to come. ऐसा हो गया. If the mind gets diverted, then you try to contemplate another 5 minutes, because it is a strong emotion. It will come very often, and then it comes. Another attached emotion starts to come. See, इतनी देर तो हो गई, 2 दिन हो गए मुझे इसी चीज में चिंता करते हुए, 2 दिन हो गए इसी चीज में चिंता करते हुए, तो then that attached to it. So the more we try to get rid of that, it actually increases.
विभव तन्हा जाग रही है.
Right.
Getting rid of something means विभव तन्हा. इसलिए क्लियर कर दिया, भव तन्हा है तो विभव तन्हा भी है. और कहाँ जाओ? There is a craving to be or become. There is a craving not to be, not to become. Now what is left? In the world, nothing is left then. You have to be absolutely acceptance of the present. That is the key, obviously. Whatever is happening, accept it. Accept it unconditionally. Then thing will fall down. Then automatically the impermanent nature of that arising thing will manifest itself. The moment we try to fiddle around with it, get into difficulty. But that is one aspect of it. The other is this aspect. You do this. So one can say that कभी कुछ कहते हैं, कभी कुछ कहते हैं, कभी कहते हैं effort करो, कभी कहते हैं just observe. वो भाव तन्हा होगी. There is a big paradox. Even in the Four Noble Truths, you can say there is a paradox. When you say craving should be abandoned, there is a paradox. It means you are not accepting suffering. There is suffering. It should be abandoned. So, in some sense, you can say you are not accepting suffering. But that paradox has to be resolved by actually walking the path. Then you realize that you can resolve it.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि what is the root of emotions like worry?
Absolute. This I am absolutely clear now. No doubt about it. The notion of I is the root cause of it. Sit quietly and I'm sure you will be able to trace it. Keep it as an inquiry and find out. At least I have found out everything eventually comes down to that. I have a hand, I have an image to protect, I have a body to protect, I have a family to protect, I have a house to protect, I have an investment to protect. Worries arising from that. गोल्ड के प्राइस बढ़ गए तो वरी, घट गए तो वरी, क्या करें भाई? किस बात पे खुश रहो? कोई चारा नहीं है ना. बच्चा पास हो गया तो वरी, अब आगे एडमिशन मिलेगा कि फेल होगा तो वरी है. बिकॉज मेरा है ना वो, मैं हूँ. नो वे आउट ऑफ इट.
अभी आपने जो कहा it makes sense that you have to there's no mind and the problem kind of gets resolved. But then what you also mentioned that you also are an active agent at times. But I is an active agent.
See, not doing. It's not a question. It's not a question of our mere understanding that there is no life. So that won't affect much. It's actual perception deep inside. It's snap ho raha hai. Things are happening, and because of the sankharas of this being, some things are happening to that. Then you are at peace. Then you allow the things to happen. Then whatever arises from you, take it impersonal. To the extent we are able to do that, to that extent peace. No issue arises. The moment there is a resistance to that, I एकदम पैदा हो जाता है. There is a resistance to whatever is है. कुछ भी हो, किसी भी तरह का resistance हो. The moment we resist what is, I have a reason. So जो I tradition है, they call this as the birth. They say birth means arising of I is birth, not just the birth from the wombs of the mother. That is the physical birth. That is long gone. But every moment you are arising, every moment जैसे ही आप अपने को किसी चीज को resist करते हैं, किसी चीज को अच्छा नहीं मानते या किसी चीज को नहीं चाहते ऐसा हो, I immediately arising. So you जाती है कोई दुख होगा ही, दुख होने ही वाला है. So जाती है कोई दुख, it should be seen in that arising of notion of I. Then you can very easily see that it should be true, no doubt about it.
So we keep talking about this danger of not doing anything because of trying to realize this and becoming inert or inactive. But the funny thing is that what this body does, this body mind does, is also not me, and so you should not resist what it is doing also. The way you don't resist what is happening to you and because the separation doesn't exist, and so if you really understand that, then it will not lead to inaction.
Yeah.
It will lead to an observation of what this body mind is doing. So it can never lead to, because if you जबरदस्ती say कि मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगा, then you are resisting actually. So in that sense, it's.
I can share from very confidentially. So I have had a strong desire कि अब मुझे क्वेश्चन टेक्निकल काम नहीं करना चाहिए, बहुत हो गया. But then there was also the inner desire कि मैंने बुक्स शुरू की लिखनी, मैं उसको तो पूरा कर दूँ, बीच में आज छोड़ दो यार. Let me do my sadhana and read the buzzwords and write. If I have to write on that also, because that will help me. I have seemed to have a tendency, have a habit of putting words, things in words, and then I feel good about writing and reading. So there was a lot of kind of a discourse going on. Should I complete this book or technical book to my techno? So then I could realize if there is a resistance, there is not good. Why am I resisting to write a technical book? If I feel that it is helpful because I have done something which is unique, no, not right. छपे ना छपे कोई बात नहीं. At least let me complete it. So I'm trying to do it. अभी भी बीच में resistance हो जाता है. But I can see that happening. So whenever resistance is happening, I now see कि वो अपना अलग से चक्कर चल रहा है कि ये अच्छा है, ये बुरा है, ये कर लो, वो करो. अंदर से कहता है नहीं, ये लिख लो भाई, तुमने 25 साल एक नया कोर्स बनाया, इसको लिख दो, छप कोई पढ़ लेगा. लोग जिन्होंने उस कोर्स को बाद में मेरे क्लासेस अटेंड करके IIT में लोगों ने पढ़ाया, उसको बहुत अच्छा लगा. स्टूडेंट्स ने बहुत अच्छा लगा कि वी आर लर्निंग समथिंग व्हिच इज नोवेयर अवेलेबल, डूइंग सिमुलेशन वर्क एंड डूइंग एक्चुअली. बट वो बीच में ना रेजिस्टेंस आता रहता है, बीच में इट स्टॉप्स, देन आई अगेन टेक इट अप, इट स्टॉप्स. This kind of thing keeps on happening, and I can see the resistance arising because somehow in the perception that is seen to be ऐसा ही है यार, ये करो ना, write something about it. So there's that. I started writing जब मैं पिछले साल गया था कोरिया, writing a book. वहाँ पे तो ये सब टेक्निकल काम हो नहीं सकता था, बुक्स थी नहीं, कुछ था नहीं मेरे पास, नोट्स थे. So I started writing extempore on Buddha for the youth based on my experience. बहुत अच्छा लगता था वहाँ. फिर वहाँ आके यहाँ आया तो मैंने कहा वही कर लेते हैं, फिर कहा नहीं ये कर लो. So such a big tussle had to be dissolved कि वो लिखूँ कि ये लिखूँ. वो वैसे पब्लिशर का भी आ रहा था कि कर लो भाई, पता नहीं उसको कितने सालों से रोके हुए वो फेड अप हो गए. So this you can see that arising of tension and arising because your perception this is better than that, and this is I should be doing more of this, less of that. So there's no that free flowing of whatever nature wants you to do. There's that resistance to it, and that resistance causes suffering.
This is very, very relevant because I think what happens is that when we in the situations where we impose an action on us because of the theory that we have to see things as we are, and we make it as a theory rather than as a perception, and out of that theory comes an answer that you have to see things as they are, and the answer is the inaction karna chahiye. I have found that if you are aware of this resistance, one would see that अंदर से आप करना चाहते हो but आप कर नहीं रहे.
So I have now decided कि जो अंदर से आता है कि कर लो तो कर दो. अगर as long as it is not kind of breaking a shield आगे कुछ चोरी कर लो ये उठा के ले जाओ, that is obviously doesn't arise. ठीक है, it's okay. And then another very funny thing which happened. I sometimes we interacting with friends and friends says तो मैंने कहा क्या कर रहे हो आजकल? I mentioned कि ये भी लिखो. अच्छा अभी एक सर से कहते हो ध्यान नहीं करना चाहते हो और फिर कहते टेक्निकल बुक भी लिख रहे हो. मुझे लगा है यहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ हो रही है. So then you get into again that feeling arises. ये देखो मेरे मित्र भी है तो he's a good friend and he's saying something. I think I should stop. फिर वही रेजिस्टेंस शुरू हो गया. फिर कुछ दिन उसको छोड़ दिया. So this kind of now fortunately slowly that resistance I'm trying to see resistance as a manifestation of individuality and ego. मैं ये करना चाहता हूँ, मैं वो नहीं करना चाहता हूँ. जब अंदर से इच्छा हो रही है and there is a perception that I have the ability, कल शायद वो भी ability नहीं रहेगी तो कर दो ना, खत्म करो इसको, get through with it. So you can see these pointers arising from outside and forcing you to kind of, because you are continuously getting inputs from friends, from everybody. So that is their perception, that is my perception, then the perceptions have to be synchronized. Especially when somebody is your well-wisher, then you naturally feel कि भाई कुछ है क्या, कुछ गड़बड़ हो रही है क्या. So then you begin to recognize, re-evaluate, re-evaluate. So again and again reflection is necessary to come to equilibrium and see what is the right action. So this issue of perception therefore is extremely important.
In the similar example of worrying, I was worrying for some time. So and what happened was that if you take this Dhamma thing and make it as a theory, और आप उसको worry पे लगाने की कोशिश करोगे तो आप काम करनी नहीं.
Theory तो काम.
Right. So because I found that somehow I was trying to put virya into it. That let me think that this is not me, this is not mine. The more and
virya has to be applied to those thoughts, sensual thoughts, and these thoughts which are needing, which are at the stage where you are still not able to grapple with them. So a mental dhamma arising of that kind, which is a persistently arising virya, the real virya would be that settle down.
I found that because then I realized that this is a theoretical response to what is happening now. If I just leave it as is, maybe that is the right response rather than
the right
bringing
response.
all
Whenever
the
nothing works, the right response I found it is, oh, I'm suffering. Simple. Sit. Abhi worry suffer kar raha hai. So sit quietly and see what is it doing to me. And then that I have seen is the first discourse works well. You agree कि भाई नहीं हो रहा. बहुत ट्राई कर ली, अपनी जितनी भी थ्योरी थी लगा ली, प्रैक्टिस भी लगा ली, कुछ नहीं हो रहा कुछ नहीं हो रहा, तो चलते सफरिंग ना, तो क्या हो सकता है. सो फर्स्ट नोबल ट्रूथ तो हो ही रहा है ना, तो चलो उसको तो देख ही लो, देन थिंग्स विल डिसाइड.
बट सर तो क्या होता है ना कि देन वी यूज दिस एज अ स्ट्रेटजी आल्सो कि अगर मैं सोचूंगा कि मैं सफर कर रहा हूं तो इट विल सेटल डाउन, एंड आफ्टर सम टाइम इट इज नॉट सेटल डाउन, देन यू कम
वो then there is a expectation in between, ना. The expectation should not be suffering will settle down, except कि तो नहीं settle down होगी, but it has something to teach me. It is going to teach me personally. So let me experience it. When our objective is different, objective is to study, objective is to learn, then there is no issue. Then it will teach us, and that teaching, the joy of the teaching will dissipate it. And it will take its own time, doesn't matter. Then the worry will be accepted. Then there will not be a problem. Because you are seeing it in a different perception. You are seeing it as an educator. So let us complete it. पद्माचल आनंद सत्वलोके अनभिरति संग. 8th perception. पद्माचल आनंद सत्वलोके अनभिरति संग. अनभिरति, अभिरति मतलब डिलाइट, अनभिरति मीन्स नॉन डिलाइट. उसने इसको डिस्टेस्ट कर दिया, नॉट ए गुड ट्रांसलेशन. नॉन डिलाइट. अभिरति मीन्स फाइंडिंग डिलाइट, अनभिरति मीन्स मतलब अंग्रेजी की प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. सिद्धानंद भिक्षु ये लोटे उपादाना चेतसो अभिठाना निवेशानुका सया ते प्रजनतु विरति अनुपादीयनतु अन्य विचित्तानम सद्लोके. So he says, what Anand is the perception of non-delight in the world. Ananda Bhikkhu ye loke upadana chetasu. So whatever in the mind, the attachments are there, upadana is there. Aditthana abhinivesa anusaya. Aditthana here is obstinacy. Strong will go in the negative sense of being obstinate. Abhinivesa is kind of a perception of prejudice. Anusaya is a defilement, latent bias and prejudices. So there is a monk where monk abandons all attachments and fixations of obstinacy and biases and obsession with regard to the world. Then Vajahatu, he doesn't get gives them up. Viharati anupadayanto. Anupadayanto, he doesn't get kind of involved with them. That is called the perception of non-delight. Because he understands the world as it, so he doesn't kind of fix his mind into that and seeks the delight from the world. Because normally we seek delight in the external world. Here he has understood it and he is therefore not seeking delight. Then best the 9th one, let me read out for you. Pratamacha Anand. Would you like to read? Why don't you read?
Yeah.
9th one. Cha Ananda. Anicca, it is cha, not anicca, it is cha, C-C-H, cha, anicca. Sanya, yeah. Atmacha ananda sabba sankharesu anicca sanya. What ananda is the perception of anicca, इच्छा नहीं है जिसके प्रति, non-desiring. उन्होंने ट्रांसलेशन किया होता है undesirable, which is not correct actually. It is non-desiring. शब्द संखारेषु टी, टी के नीचे डॉट हो तो ट. हरायति जिगुच्छति. These are the standard phrases. These three will always find together. Atiyati, harayati, jigucchati. He is worried, he is ashamed of that worry, and he is detesting it. You know. एक तो worry होती है, फिर उसके ऊपर उसके worry के ऊपर shame, यार अभी मुझे worry हो रही है. So a monk feels horrified, humiliated and disgusted with all sabba sankhare, with all fabrication, all things which are compounded and arise and pass away. So this is what is called non-desiring of fabrication. When we understand that compounded things will dissolve, उसको उसके पजड़े में नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. Really understand it, then he develops a non-desire for it. He doesn't have a desire for कि ये ऐसा इकट्ठा हो जाए और मुझे कुछ सुख मिल जाए इसमें. Then we come to the last one. Katma Chananda Anapan Sati. What Ananda is the mindfulness of in and out breathing. So you can read it. आप पढ़ेंगे? 10th वाला. Last.
Katma
Chananda Anapan Sati.
Anapan Sati. Siddhananda. Jittu. Parati.
Aranyagato.
Aranyagato.
Sisvadana.
Uttamuni Gatova. Ninyagara Gatova. Ishiyati. Pallakam.
Allankam.
Avi.
Abhujitva.
Ucham.
Ujum.
Kayam.
Vanidhavani.
Vanithaya Pari. Sukam. Sati.
Bhattapetva.
Bhattapetva.
So
Tato Ati. Sati.
standard phrase है हमारे सती पठान की.
Tato
So sato va asa sati, sato va asa sati, digam va asa santo,
Digam va.
asa sami ti pajanati, digam va asa santo. We almost remember now.
Rastam va. Santo. Rastam. Askarmi ti pajanati. Rastam va. Pasasanto. Rastam va. Pasati ti janati.
So what is the Anapanasati? This we also of course know. He sits down on the lower tree or in the Shunyagara and then with a kalam kayam. So kaya को सीधा करके हाथ सामने रख के keeping the legs crossed. परिमुखम सति में बट्ठा पेट का अपनी मुख के ऊपर सती को रख के. सतो वा सति is mindful. Sato mindfully he breathes in, mindfully he breathes out.
ये मुख के ऊपर रखी
Parimukam means straight. This is again a
परिमुख में कि अपने फ्रंट में
different people translate it differently. Some say in front of you, some say in this area. Venkaji says in this area, around the mouth, which means in this area here, because the breath is coming out here. Some say keeping the mindfulness in front, which means always being mindful. So they translate it in that way. Some translate Parimukha as the tip of the nose, so they say it's observed there. So different people have different traditions, have different understanding.
तो हमने पूरा कितना पढ़ा इसकी खाली एंड में ही उन्होंने अलग सभी के लिए बताया. तो फॉर द बिगनिंग के जो भी सेक्शंस हैं जो भी अगर आपको क्वाइटली बैठ के करने हैं so you may not observe well the sensation. You can just sit down quietly and just try to.
Yeah, so most of them are reflections. Yeah. So this is the 10th reflection in a way. Anapanasati is a 10th reflection. But as a matter of practice, since we are already aware of it, it's better that we do it that way. And we reflect also, if we do meditate first, then reflect, then it is much better. In fact, it is said that reflection should be done after dhyana. वो dhyana तो लगते नहीं, but at least if your mind is quietened down, then reflection is very quiet. That is the idea. So if we do reflection like we are sitting and reading and discussing, that is a very superficial kind of.
Actually, quietening the mind is
Very important, very important. Because then the reflections are very powerful. Because then they seep into you, think about them deeply.
तो सेकंड जो मुझे लगता है कि उस टाइम में जो भिक्षु होंगे वो कोई सेक्रेटेड प्लेस में जाके बैठ गया तो वो घंटों तक बैठा ही है. तो ही हैज दिस अनडिवाइडेड टाइम जब देन थोड़ी देर बाद भटक गया तो वापस लाया फिर उसी एक पर्टिकुलर चीज़ के ऊपर बार बार मनन कर रहा है. दैट्स द प्रोसेस जहाँ पे उसको
He has time available to do that. तो और कुछ करने को है नहीं.
और कुछ करने को
Just that.
अगर कोई भी एक छोटी सी चीज़ अगर कोई किसी परसेप्शन को समझना चाहा तो उसे पकड़ के खाली उसी को ही बार बार ध्यान में लाते रहे. That probably
That is definitely. So they have more time when they apply them, can apply themselves more. So therefore, for us, more time can be taken for us to do that same thing. So here again, I think I'll draw your attention to the phrase words because they're very important. So satova asasati, satova pasasati. What does it mean? Mindfully he breathes in, mindfully he breathes out. You could have stopped there. Instruction तो होगी ना, आगे फिर कहने की क्या जरूरत? There must be some reason for it, ना? Digam va assasanto, digam assasami ti pajanati. So then that has been put in apostrophe. Digam assasami. मतलब मैं दीर्घ तरह से assasami. हामी होता है मैं दीर्घ सांस ले रहा हूँ. ऐसा वो जानता है. दीर्घ सांस लेते हुए मैं दीर्घ सांस ले रहा हूँ, लंबा सांस ले रहा हूँ, ऐसा वो जानता है. So he has to be mindful, and it's not just that he is mindfully breathing, but he has to be aware that he is taking a breath which is long or he is taking a breath which is short. So that his awareness shifts. His awareness is not caught in the observation of the breath. Awareness is is at the level where he is aware that सांस को जाना जा रहा है. So I think here very very important point, because otherwise we get caught in the observation itself.
I think when you were discussing the technology that this was stuck. I think it is here it is important to differentiate between attention and awareness. Maybe I look at it like that way. Your attention could be spread out, or your attention could be on one thing, which could be breath. But you may have awareness, you may not have awareness that your attention is there. That was a very big learning for me.
That's why these, Abhidhamma helps in this. Why? Because they have a different word for attention. Ab kya karoge? There is a manasikara. And they point out that you can be seeing, your eyes can be there, object can be there. If attention is there is no seeing. Obviously. So, similarly there is sound, there is ear, the brain is working, there is no obstruction, yet you are not hearing. Because attention is not there, your attention is there. So they point out, so these things become clear. Acha, attention alag hai, wo alag hai, sati alag hai. There's a different word for it, sati, altogether. अब जैसे हम बैठे हैं हम ना, तो सामने ये भी जो पड़ा है ना, ये जो है क्या ये पीछे आपके पीछे जो पड़ा है, इसको तो हम देख ही नहीं रहे. ये जो क्वेश्चन है, मतलब आपको देख रहा हूँ, इनको देख रहा हूँ, इसको तो मैंने देखा ही नहीं. अब मेरे को ख्याल आया ये भी पड़ा है, इसको देख लेता हूँ. So unless you put attention, you don't see even such a simple thing as that. So attention is the important ingredient of it, but that is not mindfulness. Mindfulness is not only attention is a part of mindfulness; it is the beginning of it. Then you have to be aware of what is happening, and then its characteristic. Actually, mindfulness has four dimensions. So Satipatthana का मतलब यही था ना. What is Chattaro Satipatthana? Four Satipatthana. So he has to be aware of mind, he has to be aware of body, he has to be aware of the mental content, he has to be aware of the mental state. Then it becomes Samma Sati.
It seems everything simultaneously, not like
simultaneously. That is absolutely clear. It has to be done simultaneously, because then only you are aware.
Otherwise, it becomes an attention to that part.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes mechanical. कि अब मैं ये करूँगा, फिर मैं ये करूँगा, फिर मैं करूँगा.
Attention is there. मैंने वो exclusive attention is that. As soon as you say I need to do mindfulness of the body, then you have excluded everything else. Then that is more of an attention than awareness.
So when we do, for example, when we do observation of sensations, if you are not aware of the mindfulness and aware of the mindfully aware of the changing nature, aware of it, then there is only increasing your attention there. So your Vijnana becomes sharp. Vijnana is the one which cognizes things, so it becomes sharp. So you gain the benefit of that. Yeah. So this is, of course, we are all familiar with it. Digam vasa santo, digam vasa samiti pajanati. Then sabbakaya patisamvedi, asya samiti siddhati, sabbakaya patisamvedi. This we have already studied more than once. Of course, here, after the instructions of Satipatthana, then there are the instructions of Anapanasati Sutta. So all the 16 stages of Anapan are mentioned there. He breathes in sensitive to the body, then he breathes in calming the bodily fabrication, that is Kaya Sankharam, then he sensitive to the rapture, Piti, Sukha, then Chitta Sankhara, then Prasambhayam Chitta Sankharam. So everything, all those 16 instructions are given up, complete 16 days. So the body has to be calmed down, the mind has to be calmed down, the fabrications have to be calmed down, and experiencing all that. Then he trains himself to breathe in, satisfying the mind, then breathe out, satisfying the mind, and steadying the mind and releasing the mind. So all those things, 16 instructions are given. That is called the complete mindfulness. You have to do all these 16 exercises. This is the standard template which is repeated everywhere. Sache, now last, the end of it is Sache Khotam Ananda. If you now Ananda, if you go, Girimananda se Bhikshuno. He's not saying you go. If you go. Ananda Girimananda se Bhikshuno. Ima dasa sanya bhase asi. If you go there and tell him this, Thanam ko paneta, maybe, Thanam ko panesam, then maybe it is possible. Vijjati yam Girimananda se Bhikkhuno imadas sanva. So that it is possible that Bhikkhu Girimananda, on hearing these 10 sannyas, so abado thanaso padipasambhaya. That his perceptions, because of that, the perception, when he hears these 10 perceptions, his disease may be calmed down, it may be allayed. Atko ayasmo anando bhagavato santike ima dasa sanya upahetva yena ayasma girimanando tena upasankam. So thus this ayasma, venerable Ananda, bhagavato santike, from near the, santike means near the enlightened one, having learnt it from him, ima dasa sanma upahetva means having acquired and learnt it from him, because he had profound mental ability, he would immediately grasp it and then remember it for eternity. Yena ayasma Girimanando tena upasankami. So where the venerable Girimananda was there, he went there. And then what did he do? Upasankamitva, having approached him, ayasmato Girimanandasya ima dasa sanya abhasi. So he spoke all these 10 sannyas. Athako ayasmato Girimanandasya dasa sanyasutva so abhado thanaso padipasambhavi. Padipasambhavi means calm down. So venerable Girimananda, on hearing these 10 sannyas, his disease was calmed down, allayed with removed. Vuttati cha ayasma Girimananda. Kamha abhada. Vuttati means उठ गए. उस बीमारी से उठ गई. He recovered from that illness. तथा पहीनो से पन्य पनाय ayasmato Girimananda se su abhado hosi. That's how venerable Girimananda disease was abandoned.
Very counterintuitive that to a man who is not well, you list down all the other diseases also. in addition to what he is suffering from.
Which seems recently very funny phenomena that Raman again fell ill last weekend, right? After, we went from here, I think Monday he fell ill. So he just wrote me that he is not becoming. And so Deepak sent a image of fruit of basket to him that this is from us. हम तो जा सकते नहीं fruit आप लेके गए. Because he said, why don't you recite Garimananda Sutta?
fruit of basket की फोटो भेजी. कोल्ड वगैरह हो गया था.
बट से उन्होंने गरिमानंद सुत्ता दोहराया नहीं.
Good. So this is how we conclude this 10
चालीसा नहीं बनाना मैंने कि जब डर लगे पढ़ने बैठ जाओ.
एक्चुअली उसमें कोई बुराई भी नहीं है कि डर लगे तो पढ़ने बैठ जाओ, बट अगर पढ़ते तो नहीं ध्यान है क्या पढ़ रहे हो, उसकी क्या मीनिंग है, देन प्रॉब्ली फ्रूटफुल होगी.
एक लेवल तक मैंने यूजफुलनेस देखी है जस्ट बिकॉज आपकी श्रद्धा होती है उसमें और आप माइंड को डाइवर्ट कर लेते हो उसको रिसाइट करने से. दोनों काम करती हैं, एक श्रद्धा भी काम करती है, इसको करने से मेरा डर भागेगा.
लोगों को फायदा होता है ईमानदारी से पढ़ने से, बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस श्रद्धा बेसिक.
राइट.
बट तीसरा फायदा भी तो हो सकता है पढ़ते हुए अगर मैं उनकी मीनिंग का ध्यान दूं, देन ट्राई टू सी के
मीनिंग है नहीं ना,
ऐसा है नहीं.
मैंने मीनिंग नहीं है उनका. वो तो दे आर मोस्टली
प्रेज
है.
ये
आई एम सेंट फॉर
कोरिलेशन नहीं समझ में आया.
आई एम सेंट फॉर हनुमान चालीसा, यस, बट सुत्ता में
दिस है दे. इसमें हल्के दिल वाला होगा तो बीमारी हो जाएगा उसे. बीमारियां हो सकती
वो कहेगा मेरे वाले सिम्टम्स कौन सी बीमारी के.
जो वरी नहीं भी होनी होगी वो भी हो जाएगी. इसके बाद क्या होगा?
It needs a monk with that ability. That needs a person with certain basic understanding to be able to.
जैसे मृत्युंजय है, उसका भी यही है ना, महामृत्युंजय, वो आई थिंक वो कुछ कॉमन वो बन गई है अंडरस्टैंडिंग की इससे मृत्यु जय हो जाएगी,
बीमारी से बचने के लिए।
नहीं वो बचने के लिए एक्चुअली नहीं होता, वो भी शायद यही सब बता रहा होता है कि ये सब तो ऐसे ही
महामृत्युंजय का मेन मीनिंग यही है कि यू हैव टू गेट अबाव द मृत्यु।
त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधे पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वारकम इव बंधनान मृत्यु मोक्षीवामृता। उर्वारक एक फ्रूट होता है इसका खरबूजे जैसा, तो शायद जब ज्यादा राइप हो जाता है तो फट जाता है। सो वो एनोलॉजी लेके कहा गया है कि आई वर्शिप दी शिवा, the one who has 3 eyes, I offer my offering to them, Sugandhim Pushtivardhana, Urvarukam Vandana. So let him, I pray to him that just as the that fruit breaks open and gets similarly, let my ignorance break open and I will liberate it. So there is a tradition in Kundalini Yoga that the liberation happens and this Sanskrit chakra, it breaks open and there is a affluent from here and the person is liberated. That is the perception in the Kundalini. So that is used here.
जो आई थिंक पब्लिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो इसके ऑलमोस्ट ऑपोजिट।
हाँ, उसकी ये है कि इसको करने से आप
बच जाओगे,
मृत्यु से बच जाओ।
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि वो
because it was used by that boy and it was developed by that boy. This historical story तो वही है ना, क्या नाम है उनका, ऋषि जो थे, बच्चा, that boy was destined to die at a young age and that story is there that Shiva came. He was a very intellectually oriented boy, so he coined this. उसको मालूम था मुझे मरना है, तो he coined this worship of Shiva for long periods of time, and then that's the story. And then Shiva saves him and says this drop is meant for that. So that is the traditional meaning of it. Well, if you see its meaning as I have explained by my former teacher, that is the meaning itself.
So Siddhartha was mentioning Markandeya.
Markandeya, yeah, that's right.
Markandeya.
That boy's name was Markandeya. Right? So that he became a big rishi and then he was given a boon that he will die whenever he wants. Because once his death was destined, that was overcome. अब क्या करें? That is the story. Anything else?
Your question connect.
Thank you. So you have finished that Rodney Smith?
Almost, sir. Oh, last 1 or 2 chapters I moved to new books.
So summary here last. I have read it fully.
How did you like?
Very good, very very good. But it's quite a bit overlapping with what Eckhart Tolle takes. You can see he is strongly been influenced by him. Even the words, the language he has used is similar.
But I think what I liked about him is that
He has tried to bring